Disney, a cash cow with too much money, or welcome to the channel where I talk, you listen. I'm your host Anonymous, and welcome to Marvel Mondays. Today we're going to be talking about everything Doomsday and more. We're covering Channing Tatum's Doomsday hype, Access Studio going bankrupt despite its hit show? What? And the return of Echo with a new power in Seeker of Truth. Do people care about that comic at all? Let me know down in the comment section down below. Feeling overwhelmed? Don't worry, I've got you covered. Okay, so the Channing Tatum news. First up, Channing Tatum is raising expectations so high that even Spider-Man's eyebrows are twitching. He's recently said that the Avengers Doomsday is like Deadpool and Wolverine times 50. Oh my god, well, I guess we're in for a ride then, aren't we? Times 50? I mean, is this guy trying to sell the movie or what? My god. If that doesn't terrify you, I don't know what will. Good news, he's dialing back the accent. Apparently, the Russo brothers told him to tone it down, buddy. So yes, apparently Doomsday is trying to be the best movie ever created. It's trying to break our minds, apparently. Tatum even admits he's not good enough with words to explain how big this movie will be, which is either humility or fear. Probably both. And you know what? I have to say that I agree with him. It could be the biggest film of all times. I mean, we're bringing back some of the most iconic X-Men characters from Fox movies that happened like 20 years ago. On top of that, we're having the new people, or the most relevant group of people from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, come together with those characters. So it's bound to be epic. And then we also have the Russo brothers directing. So it's probably going to be a masterpiece. And then it'll just go back to being slop again once they leave. But all of this raises the question, will Doomsday deliver? Or will it just be overhyped expectations? I think I've already answered that question. It's going to be great. So here's a little speculation for you on the movies. Doom might be in control of the Sentinels through magic runes or through another character perhaps. One of the biggest and most frequent floated rumors is Doom won't be just a tech villain, he'll also be combining his abilities with sorcery and science. And so with all those things combined, Sentinels, the magic runes, etc., it seems that he's gonna have some big giant puppets on his hands. The Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four and everyone else are gonna have a huge problem. My god, if they kill Cyclops again, I'll be upset. But if this is true, this is gonna give Doom a huge power jump, which I'm not opposed to, but they have to do it correctly. They can't just scale him up for the sake of scaling. They have to explain it a little bit. Give me a little bit of backstory on why, on how. Don't just skip around, because I know they have to also do his backstory. And see, that's the thing. Is this movie gonna have enough time? I'm not sure how long this movie is yet. Probably like 3 hours, hopefully longer. I mean, you know, just have an intermission in between, whatever. But I think this movie needs to be as long as possible so that we can explain Doom's backstory, then get the ball rolling on what's actually happening in the present time, so that when we get to the second film, all of that has been explained and we can move on to all of the nitty-gritty stuff where we get to see all of the other characters kind of coexist with one another for the first time, or for the first time in a long time. Next on the list we have Avengers versus the X-Men, which there's plenty of hints directing to a fight between those two, which makes a bunch of sense. I'm thinking that maybe the Avengers end up going somewhere, maybe a different timeline where the X-Men are, or wait, I guess they're all converging on the same timeline now, so they probably wouldn't do that. Maybe they end up in different spots of the world and they somehow convene to the same location. Like, I don't know. And then they end up fighting, and then of course they end up joining sides to fight Doom. And here's a leak. After the Russo brothers posted a cryptic photo showing a prominent X on the Doomsday set, fans have speculated that the film might lean into Avengers vs. X-Men territory. Which again, that means they're going to be fighting, and they won't be fighting, and they'll work together, which is excellent. Which is basically what we wanted to see this whole time. Give us exactly what we want to see, which in its own right could be a magical sequence. I'm thinking that maybe they use the comic and intertwine that with the Doomsday movies, which to me, it makes sense as long as they do it right. But it also may be like they're rushing, like it may be also that they're rushing it, and I'm really hoping that that's not the case. I really hope that they make this thing as long and understandable as possible. Then the last rumor that we got right now is that Ghost Rider may appear, may get a cameo, which is cool, because then there was talk of what happens after Doomsday, and then the movies, or this is like supposed to be the end of Phase 6, so then we move on to Phase 7, and all of the supernatural, dark fantasy aspects of Marvel will be coming out after these movies end, I guess. So that would be cool to see if he shows up. That'd be awesome. Now, if he does show up, who's gonna play him? That is a great question. My guess is they'll get a new actor to play Ghost Rider. At least that's what I'm hoping. I mean, I don't think that Nicolas Cage did a bad job as the character, but I'm definitely looking for somebody new. But considering what they've done so far, which is bring back a lot of the actors from previous movies and combined different timelines together, I think that maybe they will just bring Nicolas Cage back, which would be an exciting rehashing of the character, But I mean, again, I prefer someone different. Maybe like someone who's actually known for riding motorcycles. And I want to say like Keanu Reeves, right? But it's like, I don't know. And then also maybe like Norman Reedus. Those people ride motorcycles. And to me, I think Norman Reedus would be a great Ghost Rider. Now, I will say this. It's good to hear things are on schedule with Doomsday. It means that they're taking their time, thinking, processing. And that should grant us some confidence. Because at the very least, we've had so many bad TV shows and movies come out recently from Marvel. I think it's time that we hunker down onto the nitty-gritty, the most important part of the MCU, and make it as good as possible. I mean, the franchise is on the line here. And I'm sure that they'll probably still make movies, even if this one fails, because they have a whole plan, but I think it would be better if it didn't, right? People have their doubts and complain about the shows being bad, or like casting, all of these different things that are constantly happening within the film industry, really, but specifically in the MCU, with a lot of messy things happening, specifically with like the Tom Holland accident on the set of Spider-Man. And then also the shocking news that Access Studios is potentially shutting down. What is happening? This should be a warning sign to everybody who is working within the entertainment industry that it could collapse at any moment. Undeniably insane. So those of you who don't know, Access Studios is the group of people who made the Eyes of Wakanda animation. And that just came out and it hit like #1 on Disney Plus. So I can't imagine how they would be going bankrupt, considering they just hit one out of the park. And that just means, yes, even superpowered shows can't outrun real world dollars. Now, despite Eyes of Wakanda hitting #1 on Disney, like I said, now rumor has it that the studio couldn't stay solvent. Forbes reports cash flow issues, rising costs, and reliance on contracts that didn't pay fast enough, which is insane considering Disney is such a huge part of the industry. I mean, like, these people are professionals. They've made so many movies over the course of years, like It's insane to me that somebody with that high of a stature would have problems paying the people who are working on the side projects. You know what I mean? Like, man, even in the big leagues, the corporate world, you can still get screwed over because you're not the big dog. That's crazy to me, honestly. And so it seems that Marvel has already scrambled for a new animation partner, which again is insane. Rather than putting out a little bit of money to help this studio flourish, you're just like, oh well, time to go find somebody else. That sucks, man. That sucks. Considering that it might be their fault. You know, when people pay late for projects that are due at a certain time, you know, you want your project to come out when you say so, right? And so the people who are working on it have to make sure that they meet the deadline. But then that also means that the people who are producing this content needs to pay out. I mean, it's crazy to me that you would expect somebody to make something for you and then not pay them for it, knowing very well that you guys have contracts signed. I mean, this isn't like a freelance job. These are companies, big companies that have money, that produce all the time. So to me, it's just insane. And so that's what I mean. No one is safe. Literally, in any of these jobs, you can be gone just like that. Honestly, it's heartbreaking. It's insane to think that somebody who put out something so recently with such a high audience just gets almost, well, we don't know the situation for sure, but from what I've heard, they're likely filing for bankruptcy. And so that could mean that they're just, all those people who worked on that could be out of a job. Man. Okay, last on the list, we have Echo Returns, Seeker of Truth, the one shot. I don't know if anybody actually cares about this, and that's nothing against Echo. I mean, I'm sure that Echo has an amount of fans somewhere, some way. That she did get a TV show after all. Did anyone watch it? Some people may have. I sure as hell tried. I watched a couple episodes, maybe like the first 3 or 4. I don't know. I just couldn't really get into the show. I definitely watched it for Daredevil. But this is the comics. So, again, Echo is back, and not just for brunch. Marvel is dropping Echo, Seeker of Truth on November 5th, 2025. And this one shot of our favorite deaf Native American hero heads to LA after her cousin vanishes. But surprise, surprise, there's a shady wellness cult involved. The ominously named Wisteria Meadows, because in Marvel, where there's wellness, there's probably evil. During her investigation, Echo unlocks a new power, one tied to her heritage and legacy. Marvel teases that this ability will reshape her role in the MCU or comics, so it's not just a side quest. So there you have it. Tatum hyping up Doom, an animation house disintegrating like vibranium dust, and Echo getting her glow up. This was a Marvel crossover. I'd watch it. Well, that's all the time I have for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe for more videos just like this. Be nice to each other out there and show you boys some love. Peace.